Hi everyone, welcome to Young and Wifed Up. I'm Gabby.
And this is Marcella.
Thank you for joining us today for another episode.
If you would like to support us financially, help us keep the lights on with our show, we do not outsource any of the work that we do. All of it is in-house. We do all of the recording, pre-production, post-production, literally everything happens, all at the work of our hands. And also Gabby's husband, Ryan, who does a lot of work for us too,
Yes.
for freebies.
Yes.
For
you kisses would like and hugs.
Us, yeah, kisses and hugs from his wife, not from me. Just to clarify, if you would like to support us, you can do so by becoming a patron on our Patreon. And there are 3 different tiers that you can choose from with different perks for each one. The top 2, is it just the top 2 that have the bonus episodes?
Yes.
Okay. 2 of them have the bonus episodes. All of them have like different types of exclusive merch or reco links, printables, different content that we only make exclusively for the patrons. And then also for our highest tier, there's a chance to video chat with me and Gabby on a monthly basis. So if you're interested in doing that, you just can't get enough of the podcast. We are not uploading enough for you on the regular platforms like Spotify and things like that. If you want extra content, Patreon is the way to go. So it's a monthly subscription, and we would love to see you guys over there.
Thank you. We would love that. Also, we would love if... Ooh. Oh, man. We were having such a good run. I'm just going to keep it. Okay, if you... This is our last episode that we're recording tonight. So
first with kissing and hugging Ryan, and now this.
You know, this is raw. This is the real us, okay? If you would like to support us, but don't have the financial means to become a patron with us, it is completely free for you to rate and review us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen. So please do that. And please forgive us for losing our minds at the end of the night. And it's not even that late for me. It's 9 p.m. for me and it's 11 for you. So you're the one that should be losing it, but it's me. So
I'm just trying to clarify. This is not some sister wives situation.
Yeah. Never. Over my dead body. Okay. We have some favorites for you today. We have 6 different topics of things that we loved in the spring, since we are now entering the worst season of the year. In my opinion, I hate summer so much. Too. I just have to clench my teeth and get through it. And I know I need to appreciate and love every season that the Lord has given us. But when I feel like I cannot step outside without sweating my entire face off, like, I'm just not vibing with it. So I need to ask the Lord to give me contentment through the next 10 months, because that's how long summer is in Nevada.
The majority of the year.
Yeah, but I'm reflecting upon the short spring that we did have that was beautiful, and Ryan and I were outside like 3 hours a day, and it was wonderful. And you're still technically experiencing some spring weather, so I'm coveting you a little bit. But we're going to talk about the things we loved during the spring season, starting with a book that we loved. The first book that I read in the spring was The Little Book of Huga, The Danish Way to Live Well. And I'm not going to try to attempt the author's name because it is Danish and I'm going to butcher it and embarrass myself. So I'm going to save myself from that and I'm going to just link it for you on Patreon. I'm also going to be doing a bonus episode on Huga. I think by now it's already up because I will have uploaded my bonus episode before this one. So if you want to learn more about what Huga is and how you can incorporate it into your lifestyle, and if it's something that you would like to learn about, it is on our Patreon as a bonus episode that I'm doing this month. So what is Huga? Just like to give you a quick why did I love this book? Huga is a Danish word for, like, the closest thing I could think of, like in our context, is like cozy living, but that's not even a true like comparison of definition.
Translation. Yeah.
It's like it's a whole other different type of coziness. And so this book essentially defines and expands what Huga is and gives practical ways that you can have a Huga in your lifestyle. And also they talk about how the Danes are generally more happy because they embrace this type of lifestyle and they like seek after this type of living and they don't believe in this fast-paced consumerism. They want a slow, cozy life, and that's kind of like the closest translation I can give. It was so good. I read a book called Holy Huga last year, I believe, and I was not a fan, and I kind of got in trouble on a Facebook group by saying that I didn't like it. I did not like the book at all. I thought it was a terrible book, and I feel so bad that I like offended so many people when I said that I didn't like it. But I just felt like I would probably gain more by just reading a secular book on the subject because essentially this author was trying to kind of like Christianize Huga, and it just felt like it was kind of cringe, like in my opinion. And I just felt like Christians can still learn from, the secular lifestyles. And like, of course, this is not something that I would take on, like happiness and coziness is the end all be all of life, but there's like really good principles that I think that we can learn from. And so go to my bonus episode on Patreon if you want to learn more about what Huga is, and I will link this book. It was, I think I listened to it on Libby, and it was really cute. Loved it. It's a short read or short listen. Marcella, what is your book?
Okay, so I chose Mere Motherhood by Cindy Rollins as my spring book favorite. It was so good. So Cindy Rollins, she is very well known in the sort of like Christian homeschooling sphere. She raised 8 boys and 1 girl, and this book in particular is kind of like a memoir on her life. I guess kind of like a very short autobiography. And it's so like I loved her writing style because it's like it was casual enough to where I could pick it up at the end of the day, like after a very long day, and feel like I could read half of the book and not be overwhelmed by it. But there were just so many like good tidbits of wisdom and funny moments, like, as a mother, she talks about even, before meeting her husband and then after they get married and then going on to, when they become parents and all this different stuff. And, especially the portions where she was kind of talking about the phase in her life that I'm in currently, because she's much older than I am and her children are much older than mine are. And just kind of like reflecting and relating to a lot of the things that she was saying, especially with boys specifically, because she has so many of them. And now I'm going on 3. I don't know, it was so good. I laughed, I cried, it moved me, Bob.
Oh, I need to read it so bad.
It is really good, and I understand why it's so highly rated. Yeah, so I borrowed a copy from Shannon, And I have to give hers back, and I've been procrastinating because I'm like, I have bunny eared most of the book because I need a commonplace so much of it. Yeah, it's really good. It's very, very encouraging to hear like her story and, you know, raising all of those kids and trials and, you know, things to celebrate and things like that. And anyway, it was just really good. Very, very encouraging read.
I just need to buckle down and buy it because there's no audio anywhere of it, and I really want to
Honestly,
binge
yeah,
that book.
just get a physical copy. And
Yeah,
it's such an easy read. Like you could probably have it done in a day. If
nice.
you just like spent a day reading the book, you could be
Yeah,
done with it. Yeah.
good idea. I need to get on that. All right, let's move on to beauty product for the spring weather. So I have been using Tallow Moisturizer from Clara and Fitz, and I will link it on Patreon. Everything will be linked on Patreon because we have everything here is linkable that we're talking about today. So if you don't know what tallow is, it's essentially beef fat that's been rendered over and over again and purified. And you can make your own tallow and tallow beauty products at home. I am not there yet. I'm a little freaked out by animals like like I get freaked out by like touching a raw chicken, so that can kind of tell you like where I'm at. But I still like want to use it and benefit from it, so I just have to like get over my ick factor and like just push through it. But in the meantime, I've been enjoying using this product from Clara and Fritz, and it's essentially a small tub of tallow that's been whipped and fused with olive oil and some really good ingredients, including frankincense and other things that have been put in it to help your complexion and your dryness in your skin. If you are prone to oily skin, I would do a very thin layer and only do it before bed unless you want to look like a glazed donut during the day. I have very dry skin and I just like lather it on day and night. And when I first put it on, like the first couple hours, I'm very, very greasy, but it's like different than any type of product I've ever used before. It works so well. It's been helping my acne scars, and it's also been helping my dry patches in my skin and helping like keep my acne at bay. So I highly recommend it. I've also been using it on my eczema on my hands, and when I'm consistent with it, it really works. It like completely takes away my eczema. So I highly recommend the Tallow Moisturizer, and I'll link the specific one that I got. But if you have a local girl in your area that makes it, then you should buy it from her, or you can try
Yeah.
making it. But let me know how that goes because I need to get over my ick factor.
Okay, so for my favorite beauty product, I chose the COSRX pimple patches. And I was like, what have I been using a lot in the springtime? And it's been these because pregnancy makes my hormones go absolutely wackadoodle, and my skin will usually flip out like first trimester and then partway through second trimester, and then for some reason it kind of starts to mellow out a little bit later in my pregnancy. I'm not really sure why. These are the best. They're the best middle ground. They are not the cheapest and most inexpensive on the market. However, if you get the ones that we're gonna link, the specific pack that I buy from Amazon, which is like, it's like 10 packs of this, and it's only $35, I think.
Oh wow.
And you get quite a lot on each sheet. And there's 3 different sizes. You have like a larger size, and they're all circles. A larger size, medium size, and a small size. So if you are prone to breaking out, or if you are a chronic skin picker, Gabriella,
Me. She's talking to me.
literally every time, even like on video chat, I'm like telling her to stop picking at her face.
It's a
Because I
terrible
always watch
habit.
her.
It's a compulsion.
It's okay. I get into my like skin.
I was
picking,
watching you
like,
skin pick last
binges.
night.
I was stressed. Okay. We were watching this really, you guys, this is so off topic. We've been doing these virtual date nights and doing like there's like an option on Amazon Prime Video to do like a watch party situation where multiple people in different homes can like watch the same movie at the same time or the same show or whatever. And it was her turn to pick. And so she picked this like stressful, like Liam Neeson action thriller thing. And so Jed and I were both just like picking, like,
Yeah.
he's like, was he picking? I don't know what he was doing. He has his own like stress like habit things. But I definitely tend to like when I'm watching something stressful, I'm like, I need something to do with my hands. So then I just find everything all over my body and all over my face, and it's so bad. But I used to be really bad with like in when I was a teenager. Oh my gosh, it was so horrible. And I've
Your
gone
lips would be
way
bleeding all the time. from
I
picking
know,
them.
like literally. Well, also I think that was just like multiple things. The picking did not help. But the pimple patches are a really good way to kind of like take the temptation away because you can't actually get to any of that stuff. And it
Mm,
obviously helps to protect and heal the blemishes instead of putting really drying products if you're used to using like acne medications and things like that. I feel like this is a good way to prevent the breaking out while also healing if you have inflammation going on in the first place. Cosrx have been working the best for me. There are other ones that are also really popular, but they're so expensive. Like
yeah.
it is insane how expensive some of these get. So this pack that I get specifically from Cosrx have been the most cost effective, but they work just as well as like the higher end brands with doing what they need to do. Like, and some of them do literally like pull the gunk out of your skin. It's disgusting, but
I
um
love when I pull a pimple patch off and it looks disgusting. I'm like, you took that out of my
I
face.
just
Thank you
did
for
what
your
I needed to
service.
do. Anyway, let's move on to the next thing.
Okay, you guys are gonna have to correct me if I've literally used this YouTube channel as a favorites before,
I feel
but
like you haven't. I don't
okay, good.
remember you using
So
this
this
yet.
YouTube channel is called Cosmic Resort, and it is a aesthetic like study ambiance essentially. So it's like a scene, it's like a graphic or, a video that loops and it has like nature sounds or depending on what there's like city sounds or coffee shop sounds and it's a whole thing. And you could find like specific ones like for a while I was doing Harry Potter ones and that was so good. It was so good. But then I started wanting like something to have on the background on the TV while I was cleaning when I was kind of trying not to be listening and watching a lot of things, but I just needed something like, kind of like white noise, in the
Mhm.
background. And so I found this channel and it was so lovely and they have beautiful scenes. One of my favorite ones is like this farmhouse scene where it's like a window in a kitchen and you like see like the breeze going through like the wheat and it's just like, oh,
It's
it's so
cute.
good. So this channel's super cute. They don't have a ton of videos. Like I kind of recycle my favorite ones and I have them like on a little playlist that I use. But you can also use it if you want to find good background for reading. So if you're reading and you have a
Mhm.
hard time focusing or it feels like too quiet in your space, having something like that on in the background can like help you get in the mood for reading. So that is my to watch in the spring. What is this
Nice.
nest? I need to know about this.
Okay, so Mary's Nest. I came across her videos because I was trying to find a easy, very approachable way of making things like cream cheese and cottage
Mm,
cheese and homemade like food products like that. And I came across her channel and she has so much good stuff on there. She has a lot of like, if you are wanting to cook more from scratch and making kind of like basic staple household things, um, her videos are very to the point and straightforward. She's very clear with her instructions. She gives you different options, variations, and alternatives to things that you can do. And pretty much like every single time I watch her video, it's say I'm like watching like how to make like cream cheese or whatever.
Yeah.
She like I will have all these questions in my head. Well, like, what if this happens? Well, what if that happens? Well, what if I don't have this? Literally every single question I would have in my head, she would be like, I know what you're thinking. And if you are wondering about this, this is what you should do. And so she covers a lot in a video, but it's so concise that it's very easily digestible. So if you are wanting to make more things homemade from scratch, like I said, basic household staple, kitchen, food items and things like that, I've found her YouTube channel to be a very helpful resource for things like that. And I think she kind of dabbles a lot in like the ancestral nutrition type stuff. So a lot of her things are geared towards that. She does a lot of like the homemade dairy products. She does a lot of like the bone broth stuff and you know, animal products and that sort of thing. So being resourceful, sustainable, like, you know, if you have things left over from making this, you can use it, you can save it and use it for this and this. And so I've found her videos to be very helpful, and she seems really sweet. She's like a grandmother that you need
Yeah.
in your life, and very knowledgeable. So
Wow, I need Mary's Nest in my life.
yeah, her videos have been great so far. I've really been enjoying
Well, that's
them.
my plan to binge tonight now. Especially because I really need to get more creative with my milk situation, because I want to learn how to make sour cream out of raw milk and cream cheese and like all that
Yeah,
sort of thing. And I'm
yeah,
sure she has all of that.
yeah, she does. Yeah.
Okay, so in the same kind of vein, things that we've been listening to, I'm going with an 8-part sermon series. And before you guys all check out and you're like, Gabby, what? I'm going to look you in the eye right now, friends. Okay, if you're watching, and those that are listening, listen up. Okay, this minister is so gifted. Like, I cannot, there are very, very few like preachers that give you this feeling that he gives you when he's teaching you. Warmth, like, is like the biggest word that I can use. Samuel Ranahan, he is a Reformed Baptist, and we've had the privilege of sitting under his preaching in person before. And the sermon that I sat under in the past couple months, I can't remember when it was, but it was recently before we moved. I was crying the literal entire time. He was talking about suffering in the Christian life, and I was just destroyed the whole time. And like after that sermon, like my friends and I were like waiting for the sermon to be uploaded so that we can share it with others. It was on Psalm 51, I believe, but it was amazing. It was just like blow your face off like preaching, and it was so encouraging and so edifying. And recently he has put out an 8-part series on anxiety and depression. And this is one of the most helpful series on mental health I've ever heard in my life from a preacher. It was so warm, so real and raw, and just he like reaches out and like touches your heart with the word of God, and is so like personable and convicting, and like calling you to righteousness, but still also is just like willing to hold you, you know, and tell you like this is the Christian life, suffering. And part of suffering is sicknesses of the mind. And he talks about the differences between sickness of the mind and sin, and physical depression and emotional depression and spiritual depression. And
Mhm.
he just like breaks it all down. I'm going to be re-listening to this like every quarter because it is so good. I've recommended this series to like so many people, and I just have to tell you, like, if you are experiencing any type of anxiety, any type of depression, or if you're in close contact with somebody that does, and that means all of us, like, this is a sermon series worthwhile. So if you are not on the Patreon and you can't get the direct link, I'm going to say one more time so that you can find it. You'll be able to find it on sermonaudio.com, or if you have the Sermon Audio app, and it is Samuel Renahan. And the series is called Anxiety and Depression. And if you're able to just find him on Sermon Audio and go through like his sermon series, you'll find it. And it's an 8-part series, and it is so good. I highly recommend it.
Cool. I'm gonna have to listen to that for sure.
Oh, it's so good, Marcel. You have to listen to it.
Mine is like complete, total.
You know, your listen favorite is kind of like my watch favorite. You know,
Yeah, I
it's
was
in the
gonna say
same
it's kind of
theme.
like a background situation. So, okay, we all obviously know about like white noise machines and all that stuff. But if you have not tried the pink noise or brown noise situation, it is exceedingly better than white noise.
Agreed.
And I know this isn't just something I have on during the day. Just like randomly. But like if for some reason, if like the kids fall asleep in the car for some reason and I'm trying to keep them, you know, asleep for a little while to take a nap in the car, I'll put on a pink noise or brown noise. It's just more of like a deeper, like
Mhm.
lower white
Frequency,
noise
yeah.
that's not as like ear piercing and annoying. Like I think white noise is so annoying.
Yeah.
So yeah. And then I also sometimes use it like if I'm trying to take a nap too. I'll just put it on kind of low cuz sometimes like we live pretty close to a highway and
Mm.
so I can hear and because we live kind of like in the country, it's a lot of semi trucks and a lot of like loud vehicles like
Yeah.
rumble by when I'm like trying to take a like a 30-minute, you know, cat nap when the boys are down for their nap too. So putting on, you know, on low like a pink noise or brown noise situation has been very, very helpful for me. There are obviously like some like I think Spotify has some of like
Mhm.
the podcast where it's like a 12-hour episode so that it's not having to loop or it doesn't fade because
Yeah.
as soon as anything changes in the volume of it, it wakes me up immediately.
Me
So it's
too.
like
I
I
wake up
need
whenever ours turns off.
yeah, so I like need something that's like consistently on like the whole time I'm trying to like relax or sleep or whatever. Um so yeah, that's
No,
my list
I'm
of favorites.
amen, sister. I love our brown noise. We can't sleep without it. We love it. We're addicted.
Yeah. I
Okay,
can't I
recipe.
can't sleep with it like at night because I worry that I won't be able to like if one of the kids wakes up, like I won't be able to hear
Mm.
them. But if I'm taking like a quick nap and I know that both of them are like KO'd, then I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna like turn it on so that I'm not disturbed for this small length of time. Yeah. Okay,
No,
moving
that's
on to
smart, dude.
recipes.
Okay, yes. So I recently tried the Chick-fil-A copycat chicken salad sandwich. I don't know if you guys
Mm,
remember when they had their chicken salad sandwich out. Whenever I wanted
R.I.P.
Chick-fil-A fries, but I didn't want like fried chicken, this was always my option. It was so good. Like, oh, and you know, I could have done more to like make it exactly like the Chick-fil-A, like get the exact bread, get the green leaf
Mm.
lettuce, but I used my own sourdough, and then I bought lettuce and I just realized I forgot to use it on the sandwich, so we didn't even put lettuce on the
Nice going.
But I can tell you the basic premise, and I will link the recipe on the Patreon account. So essentially, it is grilled chicken diced up or shredded, mayo, mustard, relish, and celery. And there was something else that I thought was interesting. Oh, they have hard boiled eggs in there, which I never even noticed when I was eating it.
Mm.
But there are hard boiled eggs in it, and salt, pepper, paprika. It was so easy to make, and it was so delicious. I loved it, and it was like a fun thing to try to make for Ryan and I. I think next time I'll try to like get the exact bread and get the exact lettuce to like have the whole experience. And next time I will shred the chicken because it said to dice it in the recipe, and it was from Chick-fil-A. Like they put out the recipe when they discontinued it,
Mm.
and it said to dice it, but like it just didn't have the same texture as the one that they used to make, and I think that theirs was shredded. So
Mhm.
yeah, so that was a really fun thing that we made recently, and I'll definitely do it again.
Cool. Okay, so my recipe that I chose is this homemade old-fashioned vanilla ice cream recipe. After we moved, we decided to invest into one of those Cuisinart ice cream makers, and honestly, it has paid off so much because now that we're not having to like spend an arm and a leg on raw milk and raw cream and all of that stuff. I've been able to make homemade ice cream with the dairy products that we've been purchasing. And I think it's really important if you are wanting to get into that, you need to find a really good, just base vanilla ice cream recipe because you can always do add-ins and like
Mhm.
mix-ins. So you can do like if you like certain candies in your ice cream, if you like certain toppings, you can just add it into the vanilla ice cream and you just have that really good base. So there's one in particular from a site called Add a Pinch. And I made it for you when you were out here.
So good.
This one has definitely been the best. I modify it just a little bit because I've found that adding a little bit more of a couple of things has like makes it taste better and a little bit creamier as well. So like this one in particular, it calls for 4 egg yolks, but I put 6 instead,
Oh,
which
wow.
helped with the texture and consistency a lot. And then I think it calls for, let me see. I think it's like half a cup of the sugar. So I'll do the half a cup and then I'll add like an extra eighth of a cup. So I just do like
Mm.
a little bit extra, just to make it a little bit sweeter because I found the original recipe did not make it quite as sweet as we wanted it. So I do those modifications to it and it turned out so good. And because
It's heavenly.
you're like making it with like the most basic ingredients, like essentially just how ice cream should be made is just with like egg yolks and cream and milk and sugar
Yeah.
and the flavor. If you want vanilla and you're putting vanilla extract in it, it's like this beautiful like yellow color and it just like it looks amazing and it tastes amazing. And then we also got this like insulated um ice cream container. They have some on Amazon. I think that's where, yeah, I purchased from Amazon. I would not say get the cheapest one that you can find, but they're mid-level ones. Like you don't need to get the most expensive. Those work really well. The first time I made it, I put it in like our glass, like a Pyrex. Um,
Did it
what
frost
is it? Our
over?
our Tupperware, and it was like frozen solid, like a
Yeah.
rock. Like the texture was not okay. So getting like an insulated container really helped with the texture a lot, so that you're not having to like wait a full 24 hours for it to thaw enough so you can actually scoop it out of the container.
Yeah. Oh,
Just kind of ridiculous. So getting that also helps with the texture as well. But it was such a good investment because like all of us in the house have a sweet tooth. We all love ice cream. Like Jed and I are always like we want ice cream like all the time. And so, and it's obviously going to be way less expensive to just make it yourself as opposed to buying the super nice like gourmet ice cream from like your
Yeah.
health food store or something that doesn't have all of the junk in it. It's definitely worth the investment with the ice cream machine and
I
all that
can
stuff.
testify it is probably the best ice cream I've ever had in my life.
Wow, word.
It is
Yeah,
so
it's really
good.
good. It
Like,
is really
I
good.
immediately was like, I need to save up for a ice cream maker. And I know the Ninja Creamy is like the one to get right now, but the one that you have is like so much cheaper and works just as good.
Yeah. And as long as you're like doing the right steps before you do the churning part of it, like it's worked amazingly like every time.
Cool. So speaking of gadgets for the kitchen, I have a gadget. We're moving on to our last section, which is just something random. And this is not something you need. This is something that is just an
Out of
extra.
pure convenience.
It's pure. I wouldn't say it's lazy. Maybe it is. Maybe it's partly lazy. So, okay, I've gone through different stages of how to clean up a ton of crumbs, especially
Mhm.
bread makers.
Oh
Listen
yeah.
up when you're cutting a crusty bread. Even with like a high end, like I have a very nice bread knife. It is still gets crumbs everywhere.
Yeah.
And sometimes I don't want to take out my entire vacuum or like
Mhm.
struggle sweeping with it. So I have like this tiny little hand vacuum and I'm going to link it. And it's literally so small. It's not even like it's not powerful enough to vacuum anything more than your kitchen counter or like your desk. Like I think
Yeah.
it's initially marketed as like a desk vacuum for you to like,
Yeah. It's like a
kind of
tabletop
yeah,
vacuum. Yeah.
but it's so cute and you just like all your little crumbs and it has changed my life. And right now it's dead and I need to find the charger because since we moved, I haven't been able to find it and I'm stressed that I need to buy another charger. It's like one of those small circular ones. Oh,
Yeah.
so annoying. So I use that for every quick crumb situation, especially like if I don't want to completely clean my stovetop every time I'm cooking, but I just like want to quickly just, get the crumbs out of the way. Getting
Mhm.
that out so much faster, so much easier and it's also like easy to clean because it's so small and it's not like doesn't have a bunch of parts. You just like take the top and the inward part and I just shake it out and put it back in the drawer. And it takes a while for it to because I only use it for crumbs in the kitchen. It takes a while for it to fill up. So I can use it a lot before I
Mhm.
have to empty it. But yeah, I'm gonna link that one for you guys. It's totally random, totally for convenience sake and not a necessity because of course you can use your hand, you could use a napkin, you could use your vacuum, but it just leveled up my kitchen cleanup for it to be quicker. I can't explain it.
Okay, so for my last one, I decided to put this magnetic screen door that you can install like on your outer door jamb. So because we are renting, um we can't like install like an actual like security
Mhm.
screen door or anything like that on our place. So we decided to get it's like a mesh security. It's like a magnet. It has a big magnet going down the middle of it. It's almost like a mesh curtain type thing.
Yeah.
Um and as long as you install it correctly, it has worked really well for us. Like the magnets are strong on it. Like it does not come apart. And it helps because when I have the boys outside and I'm trying to do something that's directly inside, I still want to be able to see them and hear them. But I
Mhm.
don't want all the bugs coming in. And as it's getting warmer, there's just like the mosquitoes and like flies galore and the gnats and everything. So I want to still be able to hear and see better having my door open, but I want to keep all of the pests out. So the one that we got was like 26 bucks, I think,
Oh,
from Amazon.
wow. That
Like it
that thing
was
is really
super,
nice.
yeah, and it was super cheap and it doesn't look I at least I don't think it looks super tacky. I mean, obviously, I
No.
would rather just have like a door to
Right.
put there. But this is, oh gosh,
What?
our house alarm is going off. Stop.
Why did that happen?
I'll tell you later.
Oh my gosh.
There's nothing there. I don't see anything. Okay, anyway. Sorry if you guys could hear that from my
I couldn't hear it. I couldn't hear it.
Okay, it was like really loud. Anyway, so what was I saying?
Your screen door, you thought it would be tacky, but it's
Yeah,
not.
and obviously it's like you can tell we like there's something on the outside of our wall, like on the side of our house. But a lot of people have this sort of thing out in this area, so it's not like anything out of the ordinary. And it looks sleek enough to where it's not like a total eyesore, and it helps to do the job.
Yes, practical.
Yes, yeah. So, and because it was so inexpensive, I was like, there's like, it's gonna fall apart. Like, it's gonna be cheap, but we're gonna try it anyway. And it had really good reviews. And so far, I think we've had it for, I think, a month now, and it's held up really, really, really well.
Wow.
Magnets, like I said, work really great. Like, as soon as you walk out, the thing shuts right away. There's ties if you want to keep it open and are needing to keep it open. So, if you are in an area where you're prone to a lot of bugs, especially as it's getting hotter, and you want to let the fresh air in without
Yes.
letting all the bugs in with it, then that is a really good, like, affordable option. And this one that we got, it is renter friendly. They have, I think it's like sticky strips that you can install on the sides, but they do give you the option. They have like nails and stuff that you can like reinforce it if you need to
That's
into
really
the
cool.
wall and stuff. Yeah. Anyway,
All right.
that was
That
my
was
last
awesome.
one.
Thank you, Marcella. Okay, thank you guys so much for joining us today for our spring favorites. Let us know what your spring favorites are in all the categories that we discussed today, and we will talk to you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.